grit. I want you to know that during the pandemic, when many people were hunkered in, this scout took it upon herself to create a project. And this project was just not a regular project. This project she created, she focused, she was disciplined with this project. And to me, she stayed on task, she achieved her goals. At that age, during a pandemic, ladies and gentlemen, that's grit, that's scout. Without further ado, Isha, please come to the stage, and we'd love to hear your story.
Good morning, everyone. Just a little bit. My name is Isha, and words can't explain how honored I am to be standing here. Like, my heart is beating out of my chest right now. Before I begin, I'd like to thank Miss Heidi, Miss Linda, and Miss Michelle for bringing me to my Eagle rank, and Mr. Mason and Mr. Travis for bringing me here under the NASA SHAC Eagle Project of the Year Award. And last but not the least, I'd like to thank the volunteers and families of Troop 1219 and 27 who helped me with my service project. On February 8, 2021, nearly 1,000 young women made history as the inaugural class of female Eagle Scouts, and I can proudly say that I am one of them. 2 years before that, 2 years before that, Scouts BSA allowed young girls into their program, and although 10 minutes can't properly cover the entire journey, this is my story. Ever since elementary, my brother and I were in Scouts. He was a Cub Scout and I was a Girl Scout. To me, there wasn't much noticeable difference in our program until my brother became a Boy Scout. I mean, here I was, sitting in my mom's 2000 Toyota Camry in the sweltering summer, bearing my soul out to my mother, asking why my brother got to spend a week in Montana and I couldn't. That day, my mom laid it out to me straight and simple, that I, Isha, was not a boy, and that was that. Eventually, I learned to accept my fate. That is, until one cold January night in 2019. My dad comes bursting into the room, asking, Isha, do you want to be in, Boy Scouts? Actually translated from Asian Parenthood, that meant, Isha, I'm putting you in Boy Scouts, you'll thank me later. Obviously, I had no clue what was going on, and before I knew it, I was surrounded by a dozen strangers and a Whataburger on a Wednesday night. Quite auspicious for life-changing events, as you can see. And so on February 4th, 2019, a day after my 16th birthday, I had my first meeting under Scouts BSA as they finally let in girls for a ride of their lifetime. Over the course of 2 years, the dozen strangers that I first met in Whataburger soon became my close friends as we all worked together to finish requirements and merit badges, along with making a fool of ourselves during campouts and meetings, of course. Scout rank to first class is the most tedious half of the scouting journey. It teaches you all the basic skills that you expect to learn from the program, from knot tying to first aid and holding a flag properly. Star rank and onwards is more simplistic. It transitions towards finishing merit badges and developing leadership skills, all of which would still be relevant today even after growing up. In the 2 years that I participated in Scouts, it's fundamentally changed me in so many ways, especially in leadership within our girl-led troop. I served as an ASPO, an assistant patrol leader for 1 term, and an SPO, senior patrol leader, for 2 more terms. Our new troop went through the struggles of setting the foundation down, along with the pandemic starting just barely a year after our troop began. But the time and experience under that leadership set me up for my Eagle project. For those who don't know, getting your Eagle is a very distinguished achievement, not only as a Scout, but practically worldwide. I mean, only 8% of Scouts end up becoming an Eagle. Yet so many notable people happen to be an Eagle or have done Scouting. A notable part of that rank is that the service project that an Eagle Scout does. Mine was to build a sand volleyball court for my church organization. And let me tell you, it is a lot more difficult than you would expect. For one, I didn't think that I was going to dig down a foot for the court, install drainage, and then calculate the angle at which my drainage would lead out to the ditch nearby. I mean, by the end of the drainage system, it was about as deep as me, which isn't really saying so much because I'm already so short. Now, Mr. Travis told me that I have to make scouting look interesting to you guys, and I'm pretty sure that going on a tangent about French drains is not really interesting. Not that I'm saying, yeah, okay. But basically, I had to learn the entire process of building a sand volleyball court, draw some Mona Lisa-worthy looking diagrams, and then demonstrate to everyone who's never built a court before on how to make one. I agreed to take on the project in the middle of a first nationwide lockdown when COVID started. So I had to figure out how to have the correct balance of people where we could get work done without having too many people to further risk COVID exposure. Even after pushing the volunteer days back by 4 months due to COVID, we still ended up pushing it back even further because of the weather. By the time we started our project a week after Hurricane Delta and a night's worth of rain, almost everyone was still walking around with at least 5 pounds worth of mud stuck to their shoes. Yet we were all dedicated to reaching our common end goal. Even when I was tired and my entire family was ready to just pack up and leave, there were other volunteers who went above and beyond their commitment, kept working, and encouraged us to push on until the end. 8 months, 85 volunteers, and 716 hours after I first started the project, I finally got my last signature. Just to give you an idea, 418 of those went into construction and manual labor. The other 300 hours went solely towards project planning and executing. In the end, I was fully able to marvel at not only the result of my service project, but of my entire scouting journey. Everything that led me to the final stretch. And at that moment, it really hit me what I had achieved. By taking on this difficult project and finishing it successfully, I was well on my way to becoming an Eagle. A lot of scouts will be able to tell you that they joined scouting because their dad, uncle, or granddad was an Eagle Scout and that they wished to follow in their footsteps. But coming from an immigrant family, I was always the guinea pig whenever it came to my education, college, sports, and now scouts. My family thought that the first Eagle in our family and extended would have been my brother, and instead it ended up becoming me, that too a woman. And words can't explain how much that means to me and my family, especially my parents and my granddad, who were just avid supporters of my entire scouting journey. Just 2 months after I finished my service project, I finally achieved the rank of Eagle. Now, some people have asked me why I took on such a big project instead of something small and simple that I was familiar with. The reason is that, well, I wasn't built that way, not for scouts. For every service project that a scout embarks on, they spend hours researching, developing, communicating, and executing. And I know that there isn't a single scout who can say that they haven't learned anything from their experience. In fact, when I first proposed my service projects, many adults warned me that like any other project, not everything will go according to plan. And like they said, not everything went as planned. But that's okay, because it was part of the journey. Being an Eagle, it's not about the 4 signatures at the bottom of your requirement page. It's all in here, your heart. You'll know when you become an Eagle because you'll feel like you deserve the rank. And I know that every single scout that made it till the end will say the same thing. Once you finally become an Eagle, that also doesn't mean that you can act however you feel like. You keep the scout oath and the scout law with you till your last breath. Being an Eagle is your binding oath to always be physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight, even when no one is watching. Only 8% of scouts reach that level, and that's why anyone who's an Eagle is so distinguished and notable, and I am proud to be one of them. Now, I'm not here for myself per se. Today, I speak on the behalf of nearly 2.5 million Eagle Scouts before me. I speak on the behalf of the inaugural class of female Eagle Scouts who made history on February 8th. I speak on the behalf of anyone, any girl who joined Scouting, whether they got their Eagle or not. I'm telling you all my story today because if I don't, then who will? With scouting, I got the experience of meeting new people, making a strong team. No, a strong family, along with learning numerous skills. And by the end, I was finally able to use and apply my basic knowledge in a large-scale project, seeing how my leadership skills could unite a big group to accomplish something that no one has ever done before. With anything in life, especially now, we'll always be venturing into new frontiers, just as I did with joining Boy Scouts. But I know that with everything that I've learned from my scouting journey, along with several others, we've all gained the fundamental building blocks to achieve our greatest potential and work towards a better and brighter future. Thank you.